My name is Matthias Anderson. I attended Alliance from 1994 to 2008, with the exception of 2 years. And currently, I am a captain in the U.S. Air Force, flying a KC-135 air refueler in Phoenix, Arizona. I do that part-time, and then full-time, I'm a 737 first officer for American Airlines, based in Miami. Some of my fondest memories, some of the first memories I've had, starting in pre-K over on the other side with Mrs. Stockton and meeting some of the friends that I still have today, like Daniela Vijalba, Robert Fielder, Cassie Redding, Meredith. A lot of these friends that I had met at a very early age, I still am in contact with today. So a lot of the friends and relationships that I have built here, I continue to have to this day. More specifically with the friends I met in 3rd grade. Mark Esco is still my best friend. Ben Maudlin and Cody Walker I met freshman year of high school here, and we do a trip every single year. So we're on 13 or 14 guys trips where we meet up, we fellowship, and now it's gotten to the point where we meet up and reunite with families. So they've started their family, and it's a eternal friendship. So they're solid friendships, and they're ones that will last for years to come. Yeah, there was a few teachers that really inspired me. More specifically in 5th grade, Mrs. Kluke. She was a really good teacher for that time. I was high energy, as they would say. But she really made a profound impact on education and really caring for the students and really caring for the people and their children in her class. And I'd say Mr. Jones in high school really had an impact on learning, not pretty much being too impatient, but had the patience, had the care, and actually would look out for the students, as well as Mr. Grenowig in his geography class, really kind of using tools in his curriculum so you can expand and really get to know other countries, and to this day, have a broader impact and a broader understanding of other countries and visiting those countries to expand, your cultural sensibility. Well, it's contributed in many ways. I would not be where I'm at today without that foundation, without a personal relationship with Jesus, and having this curriculum and intertwining both of those values simultaneously really helped me, because I joined the military right at 18 and deployed to the Middle East thereafter for 4.5, 5 months. And while I was there, my initial job was mortuary affairs. So I was in charge of taking people that have deceased and were getting transferred back to the U.S. So my foundation and my values here that I studied in Ecuador and my personal relationship, I was able to lean in on that and day in and day out for months on end be able to go into that job, take deceased individuals off aircrafts, put them back on aircrafts. And I did that from 2008 to 2006. But I'd say my mental stability and keeping me in a place where I was not suffering from a lot of other issues that individuals were dealing with was the personal relationship I had and still have with Jesus during that time. So I think the core values, the understanding, and the freedom that this place gives you to walk in your own relationship with Jesus. And then it's put to the test when you leave this area, when you go into the real world and no one's there, to tell you what to do or how to live, but you have the understanding and you have what you grew up with to lean back on, and that's what brings you through those hard times. Yep. Yeah, so right after I graduated in 2008, I enlisted in the U.S. Air Force and started my journey as in services. So services does a plethora of different jobs. They do mortuary affairs, which I was primary, that was my main job. They do lodging, they do mass casualty, they do food, and they do fitness and recreation. So for me, that was a stepping stone, because I always wanted to fly, but you cannot fly an aircraft unless you're an officer, and you cannot be an officer in the Air Force without a bachelor's degree. So the way I saw it is my parents dropped me off at 18. I enlisted. I still had my older sister that attended, and my two brothers were already in the Air Force at that point in time. And I knew that the Air Force will take care of you, and they'll pay for your college and all your education as long as you're enlisted and you do your time. So in my mind, I enlisted right off the bat, went to basic training January of 2009 till June, and then finished June till August my specialty training as Airman First Class. And then from that time, I had deployed 2 more times to the Middle East. And then I got to a point in my career after I got my degree, a lot of that was online. So I started my college education at a community college near Syracuse University, and then finished it online at Columbia College. So with my 4-year degree in hand, it was right around 2005, I went down, got my private pilot's license. With my 4-year degree, I took an Air Force officer aptitude test. I had to have 3 letters of recommendation, and with that, have a packet that I submitted to certain bases that have flying programs. And the one that I really felt God was putting on my heart was in Phoenix, Arizona, where coincidentally Ben Maudlin lives, and he's a physician assistant out there. So I went out there, submitted the packet. I had an interview process. Out of 12 applicants, myself and 1 other were selected, and we began the journey of a 2.5 year training program of 13 months of initial pilot training, and then you go to an additional 6 months where I flew the KC-135 refueler, and then you go to survival school, which it's called SEER, Survive, Evade, Resist, Escape. So they pretty much give you the tools if you're ever shot down in a position where you need to survive and come back with honor. They teach you that. So that was kind of the journey I had till about 2019, and then deployed to Afghanistan, came back, deployed again to Qatar, came back, and then just another deployment to Guam. So since I've started, I've done 5 deployments, and I'll probably do a few more before I get out. Apart from the language, it's actually kind of the cultural understanding of how, the Latin culture works. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, so we have a great population of Mexicans that are there, but also, Ecuadorians, Latin American, Venezuelans, all the above, and just being able to communicate, obviously primarily in Spanish helps me, but on both sides. Militarily, we had missed a flight in Spain and no one spoke any English. So because of this cultural upbringing and being able to speak Spanish, I was able to get the entire group on the next flight to make our deployment. And then coming back, the bus driver didn't want to wait, and I knew I had to stall for about 30-45 minutes. So then I started speaking Spanish to him, talking about his son, and it gave us the time we needed to make sure that we had the aircraft taken care of, refueled, serviced, and got on without leaving them there to wait another couple hours before another bus came. So the cultural experience, the knowledge, and the language has been a extremely valuable tool to have. And then now moving forward, starting a family and whatnot, that is going to be a non-negotiable, being able to speak Spanish and understand the culture, because it just gives you a different view of the world as a whole. Well, in a funny way, the core values of the Air Force and Alliance are very similar, with the Air Force being integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all you do, line up pretty evenly with with Alliance Academies. So having that excellence mentality and doing everything to the most of your ability, and also having the integrity, so doing what's right when no one's looking, and having these values moving forward. And currently with the military and the Air Force, you can kind of show there's a lot of times where integrity is a core block of who you are, and getting promoted and climbing the ladder on with the military and with American, like that's the first thing they look at is your integrity. They look at your character, and my character has been shaped and formed primarily through the first 16 years of my life here in Ecuador, and seeing how things are ran, and doing it to the best of your ability with excellence, and then also, showing God's love in the process, and not shoving it down their throat per se, but being different to the point where people are asking, like, why is this person different, and inviting them to church, and just not pushing it to the point of annoyance, but kind of reflecting that. I'm like, okay, like, why is this person different? And having this culture, and when people always ask me where I'm from, I always ask them, like, well, you want the long answer or the short? Because I live in Phoenix. So they're like, oh, is that where you were born? I was like, no, I was born in Ecuador. And they're like, oh, why were you born in Ecuador? So I was like, oh, my parents are Christian missionaries down there. And then it gives me a door to open. And the questions that they ask are just more elaborate on, like, oh, what was life there, this and that. And then I can even tell them, go check out Ecuador for yourself. It is an amazing place, and a lot of people are unfamiliar with how it is, but being raised here and being brought up in this culture has been invaluable to communicating with others, the success in my life in the military and in the airline industry, and then moving forward all the way up, So now, in this day and age, like this year more specifically, thinking about how can I find a way and a path back to Ecuador. So it's kind of coming full circle. Yeah, it's been good. I'd say the message to the teachers is that sometimes things can get kind of redundant, or they might be able to, might get down, but not to despair, because you have a lot of impact, more impact than on your students, positive and negative. But at the end of the day too, like having love and support, and I guess really focusing on the student and individuals. Those are the teachers that really stood out, is those ones that went the extra mile on it, and it took time to explain stuff, because I was definitely not the easiest student to deal with. But yeah, the students, or rather the teachers that really stuck out the most, are the ones that went the extra mile, that clearly had the heart for education, and not to lose heart, because the impact goes much further than you can dream of. And even to this day, I have fond memories from great teachers here that they had a lasting impact on my life to this day. So I say not to lose heart, and when things get down, that your words and your actions carry years into the future. Words of encouragement, I would say to nurture those friendships that you have, to not let them go when you graduate. When I graduated, I still am in contact with friends that I met here when I was 4, 5 years old. More specifically, every year since graduation, I've done a guys trip with my friend that I met, Mark Esco, met here in 4th grade. And then Ben Maudlin and Cody Walker, I played basketball with freshman year of high school, and to this day we've done 13 or 14 guys trips, and now they've developed into family trips since we're all settling down and having that family. But that's community, and moving forward, the friendships that you establish here can go years into the future, and kind of come for a full circle. I was talking to my brother and my other brother on finding a way to come back here and buy land, and also educate our kids on culture and just the way they operate and the way that things are done here. It's rewarding, So I'd say this to the students, to nurture those friendships, to hold on to them, and then after graduation, just to stay in contact, because you never know, where you'll end up. I'm living in the same city as one of my friends, Ben Maudlin, and also being able to pick up exactly where you left off. Some of these friendships are a lot deeper than some of the other ones that you'll encounter. So that's the biggest thing, is just solid friendships. Hold on to them, nurture them, and you never know how far down the line they'll go. And maybe someday your families are going to raise kids together. So I'll say to them, I did it the first time. I did the first time. I said Daniela I said Daniela, Robert, Meredith, and Cassie. I did the first time. That time I didn't think about it.